Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter at the wood lathe. So, as you might have guessed from the previous video, I am working on a special project of some salvaged wood. Yesterday I made a bunch of blanks, drilled them for the screw chuck, mounted them, and I rough rounded them so I could cover them in plastic shrink wrap overnight to prevent them from drying out. So the screw chuck normally comes with your chuck, and basically it is an attachment. Okay, it's an attachment that you use for mounting work to the lathe before you have any sort of recess or tenon. Make sure it's good and tight, and you can hand screw it on, but usually what I like to do is I like to start the lathe at a low speed. This is like a little over 100 RPM. I like to hold the blank up there in the hole on the screw chuck, and it's slowly working its way around. Make sure you're clear of it once it catches, and that's it. Then I like to cinch it up, make sure it's tight, and that's all there is to it, boys and girls. So we'll peel off this shrink wrap. Now, red oak is not one of my normally preferred woods. It is very high in tannic acid, so it will stain your hands, and it will cause just about every iron component on your lathe, cast iron, steel, whatever, to rust quickly. I've sprayed some oil on here, and that'll help for a while. Now, there's a few considerations on this blank. There is a knot area here. So this is the bottom of the bowl. There's wane here. Also not a concern at all because it's the bottom of the bowl. Little slice there from the chainsaw. But up on the other side, there is a crack. And so we're going to, when we reverse it, I'm going to want to eliminate about an inch of wood off that face. I don't know how much I need to eliminate off this face. I don't think all that much. So let's get into it and have some fun. When turning large work, I also like to bring the tailstock up. Uh-oh. Electrical outage. There we go. High tech. Bring the tailstock up with a live center. Gives you a sense of security knowing that is in between centers now. Rotate by hand to make sure nothing is hitting. And you have your tools at hand, and basically I'm going to be using just a standard bowl gouge. This one happens to be made by P&N. And I've been using this for a few months now, and it's holding up okay. It's not like my Thompson, but it didn't cost what the Thompson cost either. And so some people ask me, what's a good entry-level tool? And you probably can't go wrong with the P&N. So you start out, always start out at your lowest speed and come up from there. So we're at 300, 375. It's starting to get some wobble, so about 400, 415. Now I'm not wearing my suit of armor today. It's hot, summertime, so I just got my apron on. And we'll start out here and take a pull cut. You can hear the clunk, clunk, clunk. And that basically shows the unevenness of this surface. It's hitting here, here, but it's not hitting here. So we go a little bit further. And now we've got contact all the way along. That gives me an idea of how much has to come off. And then you just keep nibbling away at it. If after every few cuts you want to change the direction, you go in. And that's good to do because it changes which muscles you're using. So there we are. Now we can start taking the corner off. Give it some shape. I'm going to change my stance. I'm going to be pushing it away from me so the shavings are not hitting me. Oak is tough. Once in a while you want to even it up. Really steady the tool. Now that brings up a good point about speed. The slower the speed, the cooler the shavings, meaning temperature. The cooler the tool stays, the sharper it stays, longer. The higher the speed, the hotter those shavings will be coming off. So you find a happy medium that you like. And just keep taking it away. I don't like that. This wood's not ready. What's happening here, why I had to change, is we're going from end grain to side grain to end grain with a knot, sapwood that's softer. You're getting a lot of jumping around. So just keep practicing different cuts until you get one that does. Let's try pushing it in. Okay, that was not bad. Now she's starting to behave. Getting down into that knot. That's going to be a good one. All right, so for right now, I'm going to take the tail center away. Because I want to take a little bit more of this wood away here. I don't feel that hole is properly centered. You can see it moving there. It's important that your tail center be in line properly with the axis of the lathe. If not, you can create a little bit of wobble. And keep it as short as you can and still gain access. That's better. That's much better. Okay. So a 12-inch bowl needs about a 4-inch foot when finished to give it a pleasing look and still offer stability. So I'll probably go at about 4.5. And create the tenon. So half of 4.5 is 2.25. You can do that with dividers. You can do it just by eye. And I'm just about there. So that'd be 4.5. So you make your tenon a little bit bigger so when it dries, it shrinks up, you still have material you can take off. And you'll notice I'm standing on this side of the spinning bowl, so I'm out of the line of fire for the bowl itself, and depending on how I present the tool, the shavings won't hit me either, but I've been getting nailed pretty good. Not a big deal. I would say some of the toughest woods to turn are the ring porous woods like oak, ash, hickory, some of those, because you got that spring, summer, early, late wood, different growth rings that constantly hitting the chisel differently. It's hard to get that really smooth, homogeneous cut. Let's see what we can do on speed here. I need a little bit more speed. There it is, 550. Still a little bit of that sapwood there. The knot is gone, but it's still showing a nice piece of figure there. So that brings us to a good point, and that is design. When you're looking to create a pleasing design, you want a nice, even flow. If you come out and you make too steep of a turn, it doesn't look right, and also makes it harder to turn the inside of the bowl. So here I'm going to use the skew to clean up the tannic so that I have a slight dovetail in that. Very slight dovetail in. This face is flat, not bulging out, so that when you put the jaws of your chuck on, it grabs and it keeps you tight against the bottom here, against this face. So that's done. Now it's time to start shaping this. Sometimes you look at the tool so that you can get the cut started, but then you look up here, past the bowl, and follow the cut. Okay? So you start to cut down here, and now I'm looking, while this is cutting down here, I'm looking up here. Trying to get a nice, pleasing shape. Now, if this were going to be a twice-turn bowl, I would rough this out, not care about this surface, and then set it to dry, come back in 6 months, and turn it to finish. If, however, you want to do a once-turn bowl, then you want to get the cleanest cut possible. So you need to come and present the tool properly. So you're getting a gliding bevel, and a tear out free surface. See the difference here? Here's end grain. See the difference? How smooth that is? Yeah, there are a couple tool marks, but there is no tear out. So there's a little bit of wobble in the lathe. And when you have wobble because of an uneven piece of wood, it will translate into a poor cut. That's a really nice smooth cut. I just wish I could get the speed up just a little higher, but it is what it is sometimes. Now we're coming up into that knot area. Still a little more of this sapwood has to go. And I can feel it now. I mean, there's no tear out around that knot area. And there's just a bit of fuzziness, but I can feel it now that this tool is starting to dull. So we can switch to a different type of gouge. This is also a bowl gouge, but it's ground more traditional. And that's much sharper. So that's really where I'm going to be spending the next few minutes. I'm going to be working this whole edge until I like the profile and it's as smooth and tear out free as I can get it with the tool. Then we'll be flipping it around. So, hey, listen, it'd be a good time to take a break and sharpen my tools. But you know what? If you found something useful, helpful, or entertaining, give it the old thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and share this with all your friends. But most importantly, head out to your shop and go make some shavings. Walter out.